Hello guys, I am back from another video and today we're talking about what if Deku had a Yu-Gi-Oh quirk. So in the last video, Deku, Izuku after, preparing for, the final, event of, the sports festival, Izuku, was matched up with, Shinso. Izuku defeated him pretty easily and next it was, Todoroki, which Izuku defeated easily as well. So, after that, Izuku, defeated Bakugo and also humiliated him in front of everybody. So, yeah, so when Izuku started to leave, let me just retcon something. As in, I meant, Izuku's, quote unquote father. I meant, well, um, his, foster father. Because, you know that Izuku was basically, well, his abusive father and mother were basically killed in a car crash. So, yeah. So, after that, Izuku, was talking to Momo's father. He basically, explained that he was, a member of the Millennium Eye. So, yeah. So, after Izuku accepted being, Momo's, boyfriend slash, new husband. So yeah, Izuku started going home as after he eaten, he started going to sleep. So let's talk about what happens next. So Izuku started going to UA as he made it there. So when Izuku started going into class 1A, Izuku sees Midnight as Midnight is basically explaining that they're going to be going to an agency, but first they're going to be picking their hero names. So when Buck goes picking his hero name, he basically says his whole thing like he's saying that his hero name is called like King Explosion Murder, but Izuku just ignores it as Izuku says, "Classic Bakugo." So when it's Izuku's turn, Izuku picks this hero name. I am the hero who brings justice with my cards. The name's Wild Card. As everybody says, Wild Card, that sounds like a really cool name, says, Kirishima. Izuku says, why, thank you. So, um, Midnight says, yeah, that's a pretty good name. So, when Izuku is picking his agency, Izuku thinks, what's a great agency for me to, pick? Izuku thinks about it as Izuku picks. Well, Izuku picks. Well, let me wait for. So Izuku picks Miracle's agency. So when Izuku made it there to wait for a second. So Izuku started going to Miracle's agency as Izuku sees Miracle and also Izuku sees a familiar face. Izuku sees Momo as Momo says, "Oh, hello, Izuku." And Izuku says, "Oh, hello, Momo." She says, "So, did my father told you anything yesterday?" And Izuku says, yeah." And she says, "So, would you?" And Izuku says, "I'll be gladly to, be your boyfriend." As she says, uh, "Thank you." So, when Miracle sees them basically talking, she says, hello, children. It seems that you, it seems that you decide to, pick my agency. That's the first. Most people are just basically, scared of me. Izuka says, why? As she says, I don't know. So, Izuku was, training there as they started going on the patrol. So, they've been doing it for, 4 days now. Then it's the final day where they see, a villain attack. So, when they were, basically protecting all of these people, they see, the League of Villains. Izuku sees one of the villains, which was, Shigaraki, which, wait for a second. So, Izuku summons out, well, Ukabach um and Reficule. Izuku says, "Now I tribute these." As Shigaraki sees Izuku as he says, "Hey, call." Wait for a second. Got some. So Shigaraki tells Konigiri to basically, well, teleport in there. As he basically teleports in right in front of Izuku, as he says, "Why, hello there." Izuku says, "So you must be Shigaraki, leader of the so-called League of Villains, right?" As he says, "Yes. So we have a proposition for you. Will you join us, Mister? What's your name?" Izuku says, "Call me the hero wild card." As Konigiri says, "What an interesting name." As Izuku says, "Don't waste my time, you villains." As Izuku says, "Come forth, Dark Lord Asmodeus." As Asmodeus comes out of the sky with his beautiful white wings, Izuku says, "Take this." As Asmodeus, well, it basically controls Konigiri. As Shigaraki says, "Konigiri, what happened?" As his eyes are turned different. His eyes are color blue instead. As Shigaraki says, "What did you do to Konigiri?" Izuku says, "Time for your death, Shigaraki." As Izuku says, "Asmodeus, punish." As Asmodeus basically, well, uses Konigiri to create, well, two different portals. As it starts, well, constricting both of the hands of, well, Shigaraki, as it cuts off both of, well, Shigaraki's arms. As he says, "My arms! How am I going to use my quirk?" Izuku says, "That's the point. Now, time for your punishment." As Izuku says, Asmodeus. As Asmodeus starts summoning out, well, two different versions of himself. One is a Asmo token, and the other one is Deus token. So, if you didn't know, well, when you destroy, well, Asmodeus, you basically get two different tokens. And if you don't know what are tokens, they're basically two different monsters. Or basically just one monster. In Asmodeus' case, is is a Asmo token and Deus token. When apparently if you spell it in like Hebrew, or at least what I think is Hebrew, I can't remember, but apparently it's Deus means thanks. I meant Deus means God, and well, um Asmo means thanks. And when you put them together, it creates thanks God. So yeah, so Izuku says, "Asmo, Deus, take him down." As they basically, well, grab both of, well, how do we say it? The legs of Shigaraki, as they basically carry him to, well, to the police. As they basically say, "What the heck are you?" As Asmo says, "We are Asmo." And the blue one says, "And my name is Deus. Our master wants to bring this villain to justice. So, may you, well, bring him to jail, please." As they're basically weirded out. As they say, sure. So, yeah. So, after Izuku, well, takes off his control of, well, Konigiri, Izuku basically, well, puts in, well, quirk canceling handcuffs on him. As he says, "What the heck?" As Izuku says, "Sorry, mate, but you're going to jail." As he says, "Damn it!" As they're basically sent off to jail. So, yeah. So, after that whole thing, it's finally over. The whole, well, internship is finally over. So, everybody is basically, while praising Izuku for his, well, talent. As Izuku says to, Momo, she says, "Izuku, are you like really happy that you're being praised?" Izuku says, "Yeah, why are you being sad?" Wait for a second. Sorry about that. She says, "Well, I was pretty much useless in that battle." Izuku says, "You're not useless. You're actually pretty helpful. You created all of these shields for like protecting the for the civilians." As she says, "I guess you're right." So yeah. So when it's like a few days after the internships, well Aizawa told everybody that they're going to be doing a training camp. So everybody has to prepare. So yeah. So let's go into the League of Villains perspective, shall we? So, All for One is basically in the doctor's office with that doctor, which I can't remember the name of, but well, All for One says to the doctor, "So, do you have the All for One copy?" As the doctor says, "Yes. We're going to be testing it out on our brand new test subject after that useless Shigaraki. After all, gone to jail, to Tartarus." As, well, hmm, All for One says, "Good. Now bring in our brand new, salvation." As the doctor says, "Okay, you can come out now, Dobby." Or should I say, sorry about that, or should I say, Toya Todoroki? As he says, so this is going to be painful. As he says, "No, but it will be rewarding. It will give you enough power to defeat that so-called hero by the name of Wildcard." As he says, "Cool." So after that whole procedure, he gotten all for one. Wait for a sec. After getting all for one, all of his scars are basically gone. As he says, I can't believe all my scars are gone. As all for one is basically lying there, basically dead because, he had immortality quirk in, in his all for one, when all for one used to have, his quirk, he had immortality quirk. And after these, few years, he was still alive. But when Dobby finally got that quirk, well, he's finally dead. As the doctor says, "My greatest creation. Nice to meet you, my master." As, well, sh- well, Dobby looks at the doctor as he grabs his face and kills him. As he says, "Boring. I'm going to make sure this society will know my name." And by the way, I'm not stealing this idea from, what's that channel's name? From his Nomu What If. It's just my own idea or interpretation. So yeah, so Dobby says to every one of the villains joining the League of Villains, he says, "I will make sure this society shall thrive. But before that, we shall destroy all of these corruptions. The so-called heroes they call themselves. And we are no longer the League of Villains. We are the society." As they start cheering for Dobby, including, Toga. As she says, "So this is going to be super interesting, Toya." As she, explains. As Dobby says, "Don't call me Dobby anymore. Just call me Toya now." And I love that name. After all, my father, the so-called Inji Todoroki, he will pay for what they have done to me. I'll show them all including the society, that just one bad day can ruin a man's life and also ruin a society's interpretation of good and evil. I shall get my revenge on my father, NG Todoroki, aka Endeavor. So, Izuku is basically in the mall with, well, everybody as they started getting supplies for, well, the training camp. So, Izuku is basically, well, in a restaurant with, well, Momo because they were having a date because, well, they're now dating. So, while they're dating, Momo said to Izuku, "So, Izuku, I know that your grandfather was the leader of this vigilante group, the Millennium Eye." Izuku says, "Yes. Why?" Ashi says, "Well, I've been wondering if we become heroes, we should make this, well, vigilante group again, but except as actual heroes, protecting everybody, but they won't hide in the shadows anymore." Izuku says, "A great idea, but what if some person recognizes me as my grandfather's, well, grandson? They would basically, well, tell everybody that my, well great grandfather was, well, basically a vigilante, and they would basically retaliate and basically try to kill me or you." As she says, well, she says, "I'm willing to take the risk. After all, your name is Wildcard." Izuku says, "Yeah." So, when Izuku got all of his, well, supplies, including, well, Momo, she says, "Hey, Izuku, do you have, well, anything, missing?" Izuku says, "No, not really." As she says, "Good." So, she basically kisses Izuku around the lips. As Izuku says, "Eh, thank you, Momo." And she says, "Thank you. You're the one. I'm the one that you should be, well, thanking. Because, well, you did, well, how do I say it? Well, how do I say it? Well, Izuku says, what do you mean by that?" She says, "Oh, never mind. Let's never talk about it ever again." Izuku says, "Never talk what ever again?" She says, "Well, making the Millennium Eye a hero agency." Izuku says, "Why? That seems like a great idea." She says, "Well, just imagine the people just basically, all of these, well, vigilante groups getting ready to attack us. Like other vigilante groups, like, for example, like the Blue Eyes or the Red Eyes." Izuku says, "Oh, I heard of them. Apparently, they're the most evilest, vigilante group ever, even considered as villains." As she says, "Yeah, they would probably just kill us because of our, changed ways." Izuku says, "Fine." So, yeah. So, when they left the, well, mall, Izuku was, well, brought to his home. So, yeah. So, after Izuku preparing for, well, going to the training camp, Izuku fell asleep. As both of Izuku's maids, being, well, Kai and Eri, basically, looking in the library, as they basically, well, get a message. As, well, they hear a voice. They basically hear this: "Why, hello there." As, well, Eri looks up as they see, well, a man wearing a plague doctor like, well, costume. As Kai says, "Nice to meet you again, Mr. Raven." As he says, So, is Izuku sleeping? As they say, yes. So, yeah, as Raven, aka, well, wait for a second, so, Kai shows him, one of the bookshelves as he pulls on one of the books, as it shows, several, vials of, liquids, as he says, so, this is the quirk, enhancing, bullets, as she says, yes. So, if I shoot myself with this, I'll gain even more power. As Eri says, yes. So, he shoots himself with one of the bullets as he says, yes. I shall bring justice to this world as Raven and the brand new Neo, the brand Neo, wait for a second, the brand new Neo Millennium Eye group. They will all pay. These villains shall pay with their lives. As Kai says, yes, sir. As he says, alright, I'll be going now. Make sure not to let, young Izuku to, see this. As they say, yes, mister. So, yeah, he leaves. So, yeah, so I hope you like the video. Comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.